Good morning. We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Ramio Umari. Our top stories. The Office of the President and Cabinet dismisses social media reports claiming President Mutharika has asked the first Vice President Dr. Jen Ansah to resign. The Minister of Education allocates 7 billion kwacha in the 2026-2027 budget for a nationwide teacher recruitment drive. Malawi national football team fails to reach the final of the Four Nations tournament after losing to Zambia in post-match penalties. In our first story, the Office of the President and Cabinet has dismissed the reports circulating on social media, claiming that the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has asked the first Vice President, Dr. Jen Ansah, to resign. In a statement signed by Chief Secretary Justin Saidi, the OPC said that under Section 90, subsection 1, presidential decisions are formally communicated in writing under the President's signature and no such communication exists. The OPC says these claims are false, baseless and deliberately misleading, aimed at tarnishing the image of the current administration in which Dr. Ansah serves as the first Vice President. The statement further says that the Vice President continues to fully discharge her constitutional duties, including participating in cabinet meetings and contributing to the governance of the country. The OPC also clarified that the recent adjustments to the budget of the Office of the Vice President are part of broader fiscal consolidation measures being implemented across all ministries, departments, and agencies. The Minister of Labour has assured stakeholders that a new child labour policy and a formalised national action plan are being developed to eliminate child labour by 2030. Labour Commissioner Lualeyo Nyanguru said this in Lilongwe during an evaluation meeting for the Joining Forces for Africa JOFA project, which is concluding its current phase. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
According to Janet Nkoma, Programs Manager for Save the Children, which implemented the project in Lilongwe and in Chisi over the past 3 years with European Union funding, the initiative has registered notable success. She said the project identified over 800 cases of child labor, successfully resolved 600 of them, while also empowering more than 4,000 children through various interventions. However, Nkoma expressed concern over the absence of a formal national action plan and child labor policy, saying this might limit coordinated efforts among stakeholders.
What the project is calling to all the stakeholders, the Ministry of Labour and the other ministries that support child protection issues, the civil society organizations, the private sector, and the media, the community themselves, is to support the process of coming up with the National Child Labour Policy into a live document.
In a response, Labour Commissioner Khaleliwayo Nyangulu acknowledged the challenges posed by the absence of the two key documents, but assured stakeholders that progress has been made.
As a ministry, we actually came up with a draft policy some time back, which we submitted to Cabinet for approval. But it was noted that the way we had structured our policy, it was going to be a bit problematic in the sense that we did not capture the difference between child labor and child work.
Meanwhile, reports indicate that over 2.1 million children in Malawi are currently engaged in child labor, highlighting the urgency of strengthened interventions. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has allocated 7 billion kwacha in the 2026-2027 national budget to recruit more teachers across all levels from primary to tertiary education. Minister responsible, Bright Msaka, made the remarks in Lilongwe during a graduation ceremony of secondary school teachers at Narikule College of Education in Lilongwe. Olive Perry reports.
163 students have graduated with a Bachelor of Education in Secondary Sciences, 2 students with a Diploma in Education in Secondary Sciences, and 76 with a Bachelor of Education in Secondary Languages. Speaking during the graduation ceremony, Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Bright Nsaka, said government remains committed to investing in education as the cornerstone of national development. Nsaka has urged the new teacher graduates to know their purpose and uphold professional conduct with the seriousness it deserves. He has further emphasized that the ministry will recruit enough teachers to meet the teacher-pupil ratio.
We are going to ensure that we increase teacher employment at all levels, secondary school, primary school, and we must also ensure that we have enough professors and lecturers at the universities. So the centrality of teachers is not just at secondary education, it is at primary level as well as at tertiary level.
In her remarks, Principal for Nalikule College of Education, Elizabeth Meke, says their institution, which is now accredited by the National Council for Higher Education, NCHER, has for the first time graduated a distinction student, and their affiliate, University of Malawi, has offered him a teaching assistant job.
I've had 4 cohorts. This is our 5th cohort. The 4 cohorts, we did not have any distinction. So we are really excited as a college, and it's a remarkable achievement for us.
Bright Mvalo is a student who has graduated with a distinction.
As you know, education is the cornerstone for building a nation. So I think I will pull from everything that I've learned over the past 4 years and the things that I've read to make sure that I contribute to the development of Malawi by shaping citizens that will shape the next generation.
The ceremony is the 5th congregation graduation for Nalikule College of Education since its inception in 2017. Olive Piri, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The United Kingdom UK government has urged authorities in the country to invest more in disaster preparedness and early warning systems to break the recurring cycle of emergency responses to floods. Acting High Commissioner and Development Director for the British High Commission, Ben Nicholson, made the call during a joint field visit to flood-affected areas in Chikwawa district. George Banda has the details.
Nicholson emphasized the need for proactive climate area warning systems, hence working in partnership with the government of Malawi to improve on disaster preparedness through the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services.
We are in an increasingly competitive world for investment and grant finance, and we think it's really important that Malawi, along with least developed countries, accesses more than only the 3% available international climate finance that's out there. We've worked with the government of Malawi to access about 25 million from the Green Climate Fund alone this year, and we would like to do more to help Malawi to break the cycle of emergency response and ensure that it can be prepared on its own. We've also helped in partnership over a number of years since Cyclone Freddy, training officials in Dodma through UK International Search and Rescue.
Acha Chand, head of program for the World Food Programme WFP in Malawi, stressed the importance of building resilience at both household and community levels, saying the development will be critical to reducing the impact of natural disasters.
Chikwawa is one of the most affected areas in the country, impacted by the floods that have been caused as the result of the rains from the 15th to the 18th of March. As you would have heard my colleague from Dodma talk, there are 24,000 households that are impacted. The country preliminary results indicate that there are about 69,000 households that are impacted, out of which 24,000 are in Chikwawa. So that gives an idea of the impact that is here and the burden that this part of the country is facing. The damage is significant, and I think both in terms of loss of infrastructure, people's houses have collapsed, but people have lost everything inside their homes. In addition to that, they have lost their livestock.
According to the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, Dodma Deputy Director for Response, Mebo Mbendera, 24,832 households have been affected by the recent floods in Chikwawa, with 9 deaths reported. The British High Commission, through the UK Aid and WFP, are supporting government efforts in humanitarian response and long-term resilience building in the affected areas. George Banda, MBC News, Chikwawa.
Members of the Malawi cultural grouping carried out a cleaning exercise at Kumalawi Mausoleum, the final resting place of the group's founder, the late Bingu wa Mutharika, former president, and his wife Ethel Mutharika. The exercise took place at Ndata Farm in the Cholo district. Details in this report.
Using hose, brooms, slashes and mops, members of Malawi cultural grouping are clearing bushes from the entry and around Kumalawi Mausoleum, and they are mopping the veranda around the structure. Speaking during the event, Malawi Chief Executive Officer Pius Abel Mvenya Jr. says they undertake the exercise every year to honor the founder and the first patron of the grouping, late President Bingu wa Mutharika.
Late Professor Bingu wa Mutharika was the founder and father of Malawi. We, as a Lomwe cultural grouping, we cannot live a day without remembering our patron and founder of Malawi. He is the person who showed Lomwes that they are also important. They are not less important, but they are also important to this nation. He helped us to unite, he united us, and he made sure that Lomwes are also given opportunities in everywhere they go, and that they can also flourish in life. Because of that, we as Lomwes, we always come here to clean this area, to remember and come closer to the late Bingu wa Mutharika. Because every time we come here, we feel like he is with us. Even when we are walking around the mausoleum, we feel him. Even his spirit feels us.
Bingu wa Mutharika suddenly died while he was president of Malawi on 5th April 2012.
The name of late Bingu wa Mutharika will remain in the memories of many Malawians, including myself. I remember late Bingu wa Mutharika once said, "Malawi nation is not poor, but it is our minds that are poor." He emphasized it is possible for Malawi to turn itself from a predominantly consuming and importing nation to an exporting one. For MBC News from Ndata Cholo, I am Simeon Boyce.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. The Office of the President and Cabinet dismisses social media reports claiming President Mutharika has asked the first Vice President Dr. Jen Ansah to resign. The Minister of Education allocates 7 billion kwacha in the 2026-2027 budget for a nationwide teacher recruitment drive. Malawi national football team fails to reach the final of the Four Nations tournament after losing to Zambia in post-match penalties.
Something big is coming on NBC. Not what you've seen before. A new force is about to hit the road. Crafted for presence, engineered for power, designed to turn every head before it even arrives. You'll hear it before you see it. You'll feel it before you know it. This isn't just another launch. It's the beginning of advanced broadcasts. Unveiling soon on NBC. Stay ready.
This team, Mbola, Mene, muli Nkhani zeni. Nkhani zokutino, muzitsate bwino.
Nkhani ngandonena kuti khandi kupanga chibwezi mnyamata ipo zakafula. Leti napita maloneka kuti tikatani kuti tikachezi.
Hey.
netinandilopanga chimezi sinapite kukaizesa magazi
ulokonzeka kuti muvena wamalizati amagazi
maizati amene anabwera anakhangatira nani ankomera iyeyo ine sisinayendi
eni yake kuzifotokoza kusanthula komanso kuthula nkhawa zawo ndizikupatsirani programu imeneyi ndine mkhozi komanso mulutsi Andrea. Don't miss kuyambira April imwe.
Welcome back. The Seventh-day Adventist church leader for the Southern Africa Indian Ocean Division Stewardship, Pastor Mundia Liawali, is in the country for a week-long seminar where he is expected to share the Word of God to local believers and help them on how they can become faithful stewards. Toson Magombo speaks to Liawali.
What we have brought you here in Malawi is a spiritual message to encourage God's people to witness to their neighbors. And how do they witness to their neighbors? They witness to their neighbors through their lifestyle. They witness to their neighbors also by supporting God's work with what they have, so that as we are here on air, other people can know the word of God or Jesus Christ through the airwaves. Also, here in Malawi, we have Malawi Adventist University, we have Malamulo Publishing House, we have Malamulo Hospital. All these institutions require resources for them to run. And so our Department of Stewardship encourages God's people to support these institutions so that they continue running. Many people can receive good care as far as medication is concerned, and also education. And at the end of the day, they come to the knowledge of Jesus Christ as their personal Savior.
In our special report, we explore the connection between scrap metal business and vandalism of Electricity Supply Commission of Malawi, ESCOM's property. The special report discovers that while the scrap metal market is fueling vandalism, the police are yet to find solid link between the two. Justin Nkweo has the details.
Stories about stolen Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM properties, such as transformers and power cables, are not new. Stories about people dying in hospitals, people deprived of entertainment, people failing to have basic needs because of vandalism-induced blackouts are equally not new. Again, stories about ESCOM spending billions of kwachas replacing vandalized properties are not new at all. Year in, year out, these stories are told in the media, at funerals, in churches, at gatherings, and all other places one can imagine. That has done little to deter some people from vandalizing ESCOM property, costing the utility service provider billions of kwachas. ESCOM Chief Public Relations Officer Pirani Piri says the electricity distributor spends an estimated 3 billion kwacha every year in replacing vandalized property. Piri says the vandalism is fueled by unregulated scrap metal market, which provides a readily available market for the stolen property.
These illegal acts disrupt our operations by diverting scarce resources away from new connections towards the constant replacement of stolen infrastructure, which in turn leads to prolonged power outages for our customers.
The scrap metals market is currently unregulated in the country. However, there is an association consisting of scrap metal traders which has membership across the country. Southern Region Scrap Metals Association executive member James Chalera admits that the scrap metal trade provides a readily available market to vendors of ESCOM property. Chalera says in trying to curb the problem, they have introduced membership identity to easily trace those buying ESCOM property and bring them to book. He alleges, however, that a parallel market from the association led by foreign nationals has emerged, which is buying scrap at higher prices, and this market is beyond their control and probably only law enforcers can help.
We have our eyes on the ground because
we need to take away their business papers so that maybe we can deal with this problem of vandalism of ESCOM property.
To confirm his allegations, recently, 2 Indian nationals were caught with 56 kilograms of ESCOM copper disguised as scrap metal, and it was heading for the scrap metals market. While the link between the market and vandalism has been confirmed by both ESCOM and scrap metal traders, and they are both banking on the police is skeptical of this link and says it has not established any from their operations. Beatrice Mikua is Southwest Region Police spokesperson and describes this established link as speculation.
The relationship can be there, but maybe as police we cannot say that we have discovered that relationship, but the speculations are like that there is a relationship between the vandalized equipments and the scrap metal market.
The police is a legally established law enforcer with 4 main goals when it comes to preventing crime. The first is retribution, the second is rehabilitation, the third is deterrence, while the last is incapacitation or removing danger from society. In this case, ESCOM and Scrap Metals Association have banked their hopes on the police to help in dealing with the vandalism of ESCOM property. If police can come in full throttle, arrest vandals, crack down on the scrap metals market, and bring perpetrators to book, it will help to deter would-be offenders and remove danger from society to prisons. As the saying goes, nip it in the bud. The only way to deal with the vandalism of electricity supply property is to crack down on the scrap metal market by making sure that they do business in accordance with the law. If that does not happen, stories about stolen electricity supply corporation ESCOM properties such as transformers and power cables will not stop. Stories about people dying in hospitals, people deprived of entertainment, people failing to have basic needs because of vandalism-induced blackouts will not stop. And what makes it worse is that stories about ESCOM spending billions replacing vandalized properties will not stop. Justin Nkweo, MBC News, Blantyre.
In sports, the Malawi national football team, the Flames, has failed to reach the final of the Four Nations tournament after losing to Zambia by 9-8 on post-match penalties. The tournament is taking place in Botswana. The match had ended goalless in regulation time and had to be decided on penalties. Wisdom Mpinganjira and Eflaim Kondowe missed their penalties for Malawi. This means that the Flames will play Tuesday on the third place playoffs. Now, Goshen City, the Dynamos and Ekaya will meet this afternoon in the final of the Premier Bet Sapitwa 4 Bonanza after winning their semi-final matches on Saturday. Dynamos eliminated league champions Mighty Wanderers, while Ekaya beat Red Lions. Norbert Jameson reports.
Both games were decided on post-match penalties with no goal registered in regulation time. First, it was Ekaya who saw off Red Lions 5-4 in the lunch hour kickoff before Dynamos stunned Wanderers by 4-2, their first ever victory over the Nomads in competitive and friendly matches. The result means that Wanderers will face Red Lions in Sunday's third place playoff before the final between Dynamos and Ekaya. Both matches will be broadcast live here on MBC. This being a pre-season tournament allows all the 4 teams to assess their new players ahead of the 2026-2027 season, which begins next month. Norbert Jameson, MBC Sport, Mulanje.
And that item wraps up the edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. The Office of the President and Cabinet dismisses social media reports claiming President Mutharika has asked the first Vice President Dr. Jen Ansah to resign. The Minister of Education allocates 7 billion kwacha in the 2026-2027 budget for a nationwide teacher recruitment drive. Malawi national football team fails to reach the final of the Four Nations tournament after losing to Zambia in post-match penalties. For the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Romeo Umari. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.
It's a great ball in, and Malawi have drawn level.
The power of television is so present in our lives. TV is a responsibility not only in entertaining and informing people, but using this medium of communication in positive ways to teach and enlighten people. Some years ago, Malawi saw the birth of its first television.
Weapons of peace records.
Samakumulwiza Samakombelela Alibe kukonja Inu Yesu ndifumu ya mafumu Yesu ndifumu Tati Yesu ndibige wa mapige Yesu ndifumu Safuna mavoti Yesu ndifumu Safuna kuhonga Samaka